All right, well, you made it. This is System 2, Week 12. And my hope is, as you've gone through this, that you feel real comfort going through the cage system. Now, a couple of quick notes on this. So I'm going to be doing, this one's just going to be an all, so it's no arpeggios or pentatonics or anything. The cage system, let me say a couple things about it. It's an important system, and it is the foundational system for you to learn. So it's the way that you learn to put together your guitar neck, and so many guitar players before you have figured out how the guitar neck works. Hopefully, if you spent 24 weeks in the cage system, that's half a year that you spent on the cage system. If you were doing the daily workout and that's at least an hour a day of practice on that. So you've spent 6 months, but really over the life of a musical career, 6 months is very short. And if you really have mastery over the cage system, which I'm hoping you feel a certain level of mastery now, it's worth your time. And like I said, it is the way to see how the neck's put together. So if you want to understand the geometry of the neck, the cage system is the best. Now, there's a fair number of good musicians who like the cage system, guys like Guthrie Trapp or guys like Tim Pierce, who will mention how much the cage system helps them for exactly what I was talking about. But you'll hear an equal number of players, both pros and amateurs, who don't like the cage system at all. And I'll say this, it's for good reason. The cage system can be a fairly unmusical system in that it traps you in boxes, first of all. It doesn't, you get like chunk, 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 chunk rather than seeing the flow of the neck. But to see the flow of the neck, the cage system is tremendously helpful, I would say. But the other thing is, because of the picking, it doesn't always work the best. So sometimes people prefer learning 3 on a string modes, which is the next book, incidentally. I think that's a much more musical approach to playing, and it'll help you tremendously to learn that. But it's not quite as effective if you don't understand the guitar neck. And that's why I spent 24 weeks on cage system. It's not because I love the cage system. It's because the cage system is effective at what it does, which is that training of the neck. So what we're going to do for this this particular thing, we're going to start off on a progression. We're going to do D minor, F, which we've said is the same chord, G minor, which is the same as B flat, and then B flat, C. We're going to repeat that thing. And then we're going to do that flat 7 thing that we've talked about before if we're in the key of F. And then we're going to go to the 5 chord. So what I'm going to have you do on this one, though, is I'd like you to spend the same amount of time that you've spent on all the others, about a half an hour or so. But this time, I want you to just be free. You can play arpeggios, you can play anything you want. You can play pentatonic, you can play major scales, any sort of little phrases and ideas that you hear. I want you for the first time to make these musical. So don't think, like really chunky ideas. Try to just let your brain sort of flow. Even the dot patterns, if you can, sort of sing more than look at the dot patterns, if that makes any sense to you. Some of you, you've got some, you might know this box really well and this box really well or something like that. It's fine to spend some time in that, but try to wander a little bit to see if you can connect some of these ideas across the cage system. But again, as little as possible, think of the cage system. Just try to think melodically. I know that sounds really mysterious, but like I've said before, Miles used to say, you learn it and then you unlearn it. And that's what we want to do with the cage system. You want to sort of put the cage system behind you at this point. You've spent a half a year on this if you've gone straight through. So at this point, it's time to move on beyond that. And again, just be musical for a while, learn some other people's stuff, whatever it is that turns you on musically. If you want to jump back into systems 3 and 4, which I would highly recommend, everybody should know 1 through 4 if you're going to be a really good guitar player. So you almost need the stuff that's in 1 through 4. Almost every really capable guitar player might not know the names of these things the way that you know the names of them now, but they will know the concepts and they can play these concepts, which is really the key more than, knowing that, I'm in the C form of the pentatonic or something like that. Incidentally, you guys probably, if you've gone through 24 weeks, you probably know more than 90% of guitar players out there on the cage system. And the guys that are out there railing on the cage system and saying it's useless, you probably have a different take on that now that you've done cage system, and you're probably going, well, for me, I'm able to see things better than I was ever able to see them, hopefully, if it worked well for you. All right, so I'm going to do a quick demo for you. I'm going to show you sort of my approach on this. And I'm not going to really think of what I'm going to do on none of these, incidentally. I mean, I haven't planned out any of this stuff. I just let it fly, and I'm doing the exercises exactly the way that I'm teaching you to. So, with bad notes and funky rhythms and stuff, dragging or pushing and stuff, and I'm trying to auto-correct as I go along. That's part of the process, and obviously part of the process for you as well. But let me run through this thing. I'm not even going to talk at all. I'll just hit it, and we'll just see what happens. All right, so there you go. So now it's your turn to jump in, try this, and again, just be as musical as you can be on this stuff. Try to incorporate some of the ideas you learned, but really just let the music flow out of you. Thanks so much for letting me be a small part of your musical journey for these last 24 weeks, and I really do hope and pray that this has been beneficial for you. If it has been, please let me know. Write me, tell me how things have gone. I really love to hear that. It's super encouraging for me. It does my heart good when I hear from people who've gone through this and they say they've had some real breakthroughs, which many have. And of course, if you think of it, post on social media. That's really helpful for me. So Quora, Reddit, other forums like that. If you think of it and this has been beneficial for you and you think it could be beneficial for others, please make sure you post some stuff. That'll help me tremendously, and I deeply appreciate it. And again, thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your musical journey.